Hello my people, FinerBub here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we're talking about backpacking gear, specifically all of the gear that I bring on overnight hikes. So last night I returned from an overnight hike with my brother. We hiked over Slide Mountain, camped between Cornell and Slide in the Catskills, and then yesterday we hiked back out. It was a nice little overnight excursion. It was the first time my brother was able to take his new puppy out on a overnight hike, so we did a little bit of an easier trek just for the puppy's sake. But yeah, got back last night, figured this morning would be a perfect opportunity to show you all of the gear that I bring on a backpacking overnighter. First things first, let's start with the pack. This is my Osprey Exos 58. It is the old version. The new version doesn't have hip belt pockets like you can see right here. So yeah, if you can find the old one, get that one. All right, so I guess I'm just gonna go through all of the different items in this pack. All right, cell phone, always bring a cell phone. If you want to know the value of bringing a cell phone, you should check out my video on the hiking gear I bring on a day hike. But bottom line is lifeline, GPS, SOS. So I recently picked up this little REI pouchy thing here that's meant to go on hip belt, but yeah, I've just been using it for my phone because I hate carrying things in my pants pockets when I'm hiking, so just use that guy. Clips right onto the sternum strap. It's got a little bit of a loop situation here. It's not a perfect system, but it's better than keeping it in my pocket. So yeah, just sort of thread it through there. It's got other loops too if you need to strap it on a waist belt or something, but fits my iPhone 8 Plus rather nicely. All right, moving along. Next up, we've got my knife. This guy is the Essie Izula 2. It is a fixed blade, full tang knife. That means that the blade steel runs all the way through the handle. Got a little bit of jimping right there for grip. The benefit of the Izula 2 compared to the regular Izula is that it has a full size handle. So even though it's a very small knife, I can still get a full fist of a grip on there. Nice canvas micarta handle scales there, so it's extremely grippy even in wet conditions. The reason I use the fixed blade knife is because I personally find it much better for like food preparation and all that. It's a lot easier to clean a fixed blade knife than it is to clean a folding knife because you don't want any gunk getting inside the folding portion. But yeah, just clean it off right before put it in the sheath. Nice little molded plastic sheath there with a belt clip and a little whistle. All right, knife. Yeah, and that fits right here in this nice little pocket. In the other one here, I usually just keep a little thing of hand sanitizer that I have since removed because I used it when I went to go boom boom in the woods and I didn't put it back. But yeah, that's what I usually hike with. And then this is the Peak Design capture clip, which holds my little camera here, Sony point and shoot camera. That just goes like this, stays right there. Easy access. And then I can just push the little button, unlock it, FinerBub, action shots. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. While we're talking about cameras, might as well mention the GoPro. I have the GoPro Hero 7 with the Ultra Pod, and I have a little metal GoPro mount on the bottom there that screws into a 1/4-20. This is my main sort of, hello my people, talking to the camera rig. And what's great about these belt loops, if you can see, is that they create these little loops here. So I can just put this here as if it's my little ice axe, and then I just fold it down, and then it's just my little dangly. Here, go back to 10 mils so that you can see. But yeah, just dangles right there, hands-free. This backpack conveniently has the side access water bottle pockets so that I can just grab this out on the go. I bring one of these 1 liter Nalgene bottles. It's easy to just grab and go while you're walking. I also bring my Katadyn BeFree 1 liter water bag, which comes with a built-in filter that I can use to fill up this other bottle. And then I have 2 liters to carry, but usually I just keep this in my backpack as extra water in case I don't run into a stream for a while. And then I mainly just drink out of this thing. And oftentimes I will just shove this into the stow on the go trekking pole holder thing like that, and it just dangles right there so that I can just grab it really easily. I did bring trekking poles on this hike, however I didn't use them at all. They kind of are hard to use when you're filming, so I only really use them if I feel like my knees are bothering me or if the terrain calls for it. Okay, oh man, the mosquitoes have found me. Now, what's in my hip belt pockets? I've got a little thermometer, Coleman thermometer compass, and a little mini fire steel from firesteel.com, just kind of a backup fire starter. some sparks, but I usually just bring a lighter, and that's what I use to start my fires because lighters are easier. This thing is really just a backup if the lighter runs out of fuel or whatever it is. Yeah, mainly just use one of these Bic lighters. Very handy dandy. I also keep a chapstick. However, overnight, I put the chapstick inside my bear bag. What else is in here? GoPro batteries that are dead, and yeah, that's it. Okay, put this away so I remember to charge it. All right, so I've basically covered everything that's easily accessible on my pack while I'm hiking. Now I'm gonna take the pack off and we'll go over what's inside of it. Okay, so this is my Osprey Exos 58 pack, and we'll just go through everything that I bring here. First, ass pad. This is great for kneeling and sitting when it's wet or cold. Yeah, more comfortable. So I'm just gonna lay this down right here, put my dainty little knees on it so that I am more comfortable making this video. Okay, so tent poles. I have the big Agnes copper spur HVUL2. You can check out any of the 2 videos that I've made about that tent. Put them in a link that'll pop up right here. Also a link below. But yeah, great tent. It's a 2-person tent, so it takes up a little more space in my pack. Probably could carry more stuff if I use a 1-person tent, but I use a 2-person tent because that's all I've got. And trekking poles. These are some hand-me-down Lecky Markaloo titanium poles. However, if I were to get a new pair, I'd probably get one of the Black Diamond models that have more of the clampy locks instead of the twisty locks, in addition to the cork handles. But yeah, I just use these because my dad gave them to me like long time ago. Just a pair of hand-me-downs, and they've been serving me great ever since. But yeah, twisty locks are a little bit of a pain. However, they work fine, and yeah, gotten good results out of these. So yeah, Lecky trekking poles. Next up is this little doohickey. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I usually use this Tenba BYOB 10 camera insert to carry my camera gear. But on the overnight hikes, I'm carrying a bunch of other stuff. So I've been using this little guy here from katabags.com. This is the DC 431. And yeah, it's just really to keep my point and shoot camera in when I'm not hiking. It also has some nice belt loops, so at some points I do clip it through the waist belt of my backpack. But yeah, it just fits inside the top brain pouch here. So yeah, I just I keep that in here so I don't have to carry the bulkier one that I normally bring on day hikes, which holds a little bit more gear. But yeah, on the backpacking trips, I kind of just go a little bit more loosey-goosey and throw everything in loose besides the camera and the batteries, which go in this guy. See, it's got a nice little Velcro pouch for your SD cards and your batteries. Not that I use it because it's tiny, but it has some nice side pouches as well that are good for that. So there you go. Camera insert. All right, always bring a hanky. Doesn't have to have trout on it. It's good for wiping your face, blowing your nose, and then wiping it on your face. Good stuff. Then always bring a buff. I brought 2 buffs on this hike, 1 for each day. Perfect for net gaiter, perfect hat, ear warmer, also a good mask for when you're passing people who have the corona cooties. But yeah, I was also testing out some new masks this trip, so yeah, go check out FinerBub.com, click on the merch tab if you'd like to check out the new FinerBub mask. It's also testing the new outdoor research mask, so yeah, FinerBub.com, click on the merch tab, it's on the top, and then it'll take you to another website where I put the design, and yeah, you can order it. Money for me, internet money. Yeah, internet money. Please consider supporting the channel by shopping through the FinerBub merch shop. You can also go to finerbub.threadless.com if you'd like to check it out. Cool, toll free. All right, next, woolly hat. This is a Fjallraven hat. You can use any sort of wool beanie, but yeah, it was really cold up in the Catskills yesterday and the day before. Got down to low 30s, which is basically freezing for those of you across the pond or north of the 49th parallel. Always bring a beanie. This does a ton for keeping you warm while you're hiking, but I also sleep with this on. Just keeps you much warmer in your sleeping bag, and then when it gets light out in the morning, you can pull it down over your eyes. Works as a great little nightshade. Next, I guess we'll talk about foodstuffs. Oh, there's my hand sanitizer. That goes in this thing. For those of you who've seen my other videos, you'll know that I use the MSR Pocket Rocket 2 as my cook stove, and then I just bring one of these little cans of fuel as well. You can check out the link for that video right up here. And yeah, I usually bring some sort of oatmeal and maybe some ramen packets, just easy peasy stuff. So next, I bring a trowel. I don't know what the brand is. Oh, this is a GSI plastic trowel. I also have the Deuce of Spades, which is a little bit lighter weight, but this one is much better at digging holes, and it has little measurement markers on there so that you can know that you are at the appropriate depth for digging a cat hole. You're supposed to dig a 6-inch cat hole every time you take a. And then I also have some of this biodegradable toilet paper. Usually I try to burn the toilet paper or pack it out inside a little plastic baggie, but the biodegradable kind is good in case you miss a couple pieces that have to go in the ground. However, it's advisable not to bury your toilet paper because it attracts critters and they're more likely to dig up your duties. Yeah, so toilet paper, trowel. And this is not a poop shovel, just FYI. This is for digging the hole that the poop goes in. Poop. Okay, I also have these wool gloves that I got on my Knowles course a long time ago, and they are excellent pot holders. So I just use them as my hiking gloves, and I can just hold my pot when it's really hot. I have this 700 milliliter pot. It's got little measurements on the inside there. This one is made by the Pathfinder School. I think you can get it at selfrelianceoutfitters.com. Comes with a little lid there, and those little slits on the side of the lid are so that you can put a fish mouth spreader in there and use it as a little pot dangler over a campfire if you want. Yeah, I don't really use it that way that often, but more often than not I just put it right on top of my MSR stove, and yeah, it works great like that. Next thing is my Light My Fire titanium spork. It's got a little serrated knife edge right there. It's a nice big spoon. Nice fork. Don't think I need to tell you how to use this, but yeah, very handy dandy. And the next thing is this little spatchy. This thing is great for like scraping out the last bits of oatmeal that you can't get with the spoon. It also helps clean things up a little bit, but yeah, it's like a little bit of a situation. And yeah, those are my two eating utensils besides the knife. If I have anything that I need to slice. But normally the knife is more for just like shaving down some little twiggies to make fire feathers, you know. Anyway, next, I have a map. This is a map of Catskill Park, which is where I was this weekend. This is more of just a backup in case my phone dies, but yeah, I always carry a paper map, and you can see that showcased in many of my videos where I have map sequences and I just point to the map and show you where I was and all that sort of thing. This is waterproof and tear resistant, made by National Geographic. Amazon affiliate links below. Support the channel, shop through the links. Greatly appreciate that. All right, now let's go through this here thingy. Okay. GoPro battery charger. More details about this guy out in my camera gear video. That'll either be linked up here or in the description below. I only get 5 links up here per video, so yeah, I might pick and choose. Let me see if I can turn up this exposure. It's getting a little cloudy. Oh yeah, bring in the light. Okay, so actually, could have showed you this before, but this is the MSR Pocket Rocket stove. Pop that open, and then that screws right into the top of this guy, and then you turn on the gas and fire the lighter. Get your little cup on top of there. Show you a little demo, B-roll demo. Yeah, this thing is great. Had this for a few years now. Amazing. Review right there. Made a video last year. Go check it out. I think it's a good video. I tried hard to make it good. So you should go watch it. I'd really appreciate it. Give it the thumbs up. That's really the best thing you can do for these videos. And subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, that goes in there. Cool beans. Then, yeah, this isn't really relevant to backpacking, but I have my audio recorder with the wind muff here because my point and shoot camera gets terrible audio. You could see a demo of that in my camera gear video, linked up here and below. Got some good audio of the puppy sleeping by the fire. It was very cute. So I'll play some of that for you right now.
The sound is Halifax in Tevil's lap, asleep by the campfire. This is FinerBub, signing out.
Okay, what else? Black diamond spot headlamp. Excellent little headlamp. Also has a red light. See that right there? Really useful. You know what a headlamp does. And I always use Panasonic Eneloop Pro rechargeable batteries because non-rechargeable batteries are dumb and they're a waste. What else is in here? Okay, so I've got this little Jaybird case that my headphones came in. It's just a little rubber case. that I use to keep my iPhone charger cable, and a little micro USB cable that I use for charging my camera batteries. But yeah, my main chargers are just this Belkin dual charger there. You can plug in 2 USBs to that. And I have this Outdoor Tech one that is also a nice little flashlight. There's like a little pocket above my head in my tent, so whenever I'm in there, I kind of just use this to like see around so I don't have to keep the headlamp on. But it also opens up and there's a USB charger there. They make better ones than these now. I'd probably go for like a 20,000 milliamp battery if I were to get a new one, but yeah, this is just what I've been working with for the past couple of years, so just not gonna get a new one until I need to. Keep a little notebook. My brother gave me this one. My brother Jake, different brother, he gave me this one, a little Hobbit themed notebook. I just use this for jotting down little notes for filmmaking, and you know, if I just need to write something down. Keep a little mechanical pencil in the pack as well. That's my little battery charger for the Sony right there, and that goes right inside my battery pouch that you've all seen in my camera gear video. So yeah, I just keep the Sony batteries in one of these. Have 4 Sony batteries, and I have a bunch of these rechargeable AAAs, GoPro batteries, and then in the last pouch I just keep the Sony charger because it fits in there nicely. I originally got this for DSLR batteries. I don't really use a DSLR when I'm hiking just because it's heavier. Anyway, battery case, not necessary for backpacking, but for filming, helps. Just got a little lens spritz there, also for the camera, but also for sunglasses. What else is in here? Mechanical pencil for writing in the notebook. Okay. Moving on to the underside of this flap, this pack brain. Keep a little packet of tissues, always good to have. Never know what's gonna happen. Mainly, all this can be encapsulated by first aid kit. Bring a first aid kit, moleskin, band-aids, good stuff. Little antiseptic wipes, those sorts of things. Okay, now let's open the main pouch here. This is my Fjallraven Sten fleece. If you want to know more about clothing I bring when I'm hiking, you could check out my gear I bring on a day hike video. Link over there and down below. But yeah, this thing is awesome. Fleece is the best. Since this was a really cold hike and I knew we were going to be camped out in almost freezing temperatures, I also have these Eastern Mountain Sports fleece pants. They're super warm. They're like too warm to wear any other time unless you're absolutely freezing. Okay, for backpacking trips, I always bring long johns. These are Hot Chili's long johns that I've had for like 10 years, but I also have some Helly Hansen long johns. I just wear these as PJs. Next, this is part of the tent. This is the ground sheet. Made a whole video about the ground sheet. I'll link it right there. But yeah, you don't really need to buy this. You can also just use a regular tarp. That's that. This is a really cold hike, so I have this puffy vest. Normally I only bring one insulating layer, like the fleece, but since this was like pretty close to winter conditions, I decided to bring an extra insulating layer for nighttime. And then I have my Patagonia rain shell. Talk more about this in the day hike video, but yeah, it's just a ripstop rain shell, hard shell jacket, extra layer of warmth, wind protection, and obviously rain protection. Everything smells like a campfire. Okay, so then this is the rest of my tent. Big Agnes copper spur HVUL2. The poles do fit in this bag. However, I personally find it a lot more practical to just keep the poles on the outside strapped to the side of the pack, and then I just shove the rest of the tent on the inside of the pack. Just is an easier way to save space. Okay, what else is in here? Oh, this is just a contractor grade garbage bag that I line the entire interior of my pack with, and then I just literally keep everything stuffed inside this thing and then just roll it up, close the pack, and that way I don't need a rain cover on the outside of my pack. Everything that needs waterproof protection just goes in here. Just close it up nice and tight, and that works out great. So at the bottom of my pack, I have this little pillow and blanket case that I bought at an airport. It's basically just like a little fleece material on the outside there. Unzips, and I keep my Thermarest Neo Air X-Lite inflatable sleeping pad video review right there, or down there. Yeah, the Neo Air X-Lite, super ultralight sleeping pad. It's worked great for me so far. However, it is kind of like coffin shaped, so it's very narrow. You can also get the large size. I got the regular size and maybe should have gotten the large size. I'm 5'10". It's definitely long enough for me, but maybe the large one is a little bit wider. I know my friend Boomba has the Thermarest Neo Air, and that's more rectangular shape, so I'd probably recommend that one over this one just because this one, it's lighter weight. So if you're going ultralight, like this one's probably better, but if you're just going for comfort, then probably just go for the regular Neo Air. But yeah, this has served me well so far. My biggest complaint is just that it makes a ton of noise when you roll around on it. So if you're with someone who's a light sleeper, they might get annoyed. Kind of sounds like you're rolling around on tinfoil, but definitely an upgrade from the Ridge Rest So Light that I used before. Link right there or down there. All right, yeah. So this is just an inflatable pillow. It's basically just a pillow-shaped beach ball on the inside, and yeah, you blow it up and it's a pillow. Not the most comfortable pillow. I know Sea to Summit makes some nice ones, and there are some other companies that make inflatable pillows as well, but I already had this one, so there's no really need to buy one that's specifically for camping. This is just an airline one, and I'm not one of those people who is just gonna lose their mind over saving every last ounce. I am carrying camera gear, so yeah, I mean, maybe if this pops or something, I'll buy a new one, but for now, this is good enough and works fine for me. I used to use my clothing bag as my pillow, but this is just like helps me get way better sleep, especially since I can now comfortably sleep on my side with the inflatable pad. Having that nice inflatable pillow under your head just, you know, helps you get better sleep and you enjoy your time out there a lot more so that you're not just like overtired. And then at the bottom of this, I just have all of my dirty laundry. So every time I like end up taking a piece of clothing off that I know I'm not going to wear for the rest of the trip, I take out the trash bag and throw all the dirty laundry at the bottom of the pack. It doesn't really matter if it gets wet, but yeah, some of the clothing I bring, hankies, buff, gym shirt, quick dry material t-shirt. I have these Exo boxer briefs. Got some little fishing flies on there. Very outdoorsy, very cool. Have an extra pair of gloves, also made by Eastern Mountain Sports. And then we have our prototype FinerBub logo stash mask. Be sure to go to FinerBub.com and click on the merch tab so that you can purchase your very own FinerBub stash mask so that you can keep the Corona cooties at bay. And if you don't feel like representing, you can always flip it around, and it's got the black one for stealth mode. This is not rated for any sort of like, you know, real germ protection. This is just like cloth. So if you're a doctor, don't wear this to work. It's good for just walking around town and, you know, whenever you pass people on the trail. Normally I'm just wearing the buff around my neck, so I'll just put it up, but sometimes, yeah, it's nice to just have a mask because the mask's not quite as warm as the buff, so that's beneficial. Always, always, always wear darn tough socks. These are the Hike Trek models. I bring 2 pairs on this overnight, one for the first day. Well, I didn't bring 2 pairs. I brought 1 pair and wore the other pair, then switched halfway through, and the entire time I wore my Asolo Fugitive GTX hiking boots. You can check out my first impressions video right there. They are excellent, best hiking boots I've ever owned. They've broken in really nicely over the past few hikes that I've taken them on. And then when I'm just chilling around camp, I have these Birkenstock plastic models. They're like 50 bucks, they're cheaper. They're starting to fall apart. I've worn them basically for the whole summer and most of the fall, but yeah, they're super lightweight, really good for just wearing around camp and just keeping next to your tent site in case you have to like go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, just slip something on and then go outside so you don't have to tie up your boots or anything. The other sock right there. Okay, sleeping bag. I tie this to the bottom. I mean, these are technically sleeping pad straps, but you can really strap anything to the bottom. There are no rules. I have this Sea Summit Evac Event 20-liter dry sack. This is a cool one because this little membrane here allows air to escape, but it doesn't allow moisture in. So even if you don't get all the air out, you can still like kneel down on it and get a lot more out of there. And then yeah, inside here, I have my, well, let's go over this first. This is a Sea to Summit Thermalite Reactor sleeping bag liner. It's 100% polyester, and this is just a really, really comfortable liner for the sleeping bag. It's kind of like having a sheet inside your sleeping bag. This one adds about 8 degrees of warmth to the sleeping bag, so it helps you go down to lower temperatures than your sleeping bag is rated to. But in the summertime, I usually just sleep in this and then just use the sleeping bag as a blanket, or just not at all if it's too hot. But another benefit of this is that I can just sleep in this and then wash this, and then I never really have to worry about washing the sleeping bag because this is really the only thing that gets dirty. So yeah, that's the sleeping bag liner by Sea to Summit. And then my sleeping bag is a Fjallraven. It's called the Move In bag, and you can see all the temperature ratings right there. It's rated for about 40 degrees for comfort, and then for emergencies it can get a little bit colder. You won't be comfortable, but it will protect you in the cold weather. I used to work at a Fjallraven store back in 2017. I worked there over the holiday season. But yeah, this is part of a series they did. This is the Move In bag, and they also made the Move With bag. So the Move In bag is made to be a little bit looser so you can roll around inside of it, and then the Move With bag is more of like a caterpillar type fit, so that, you know, when you roll, it's sort of cocooned around you and it moves with you. It's a down sleeping bag, which is warmer, you know, by weight than Primaloft or like any other sort of synthetic insulation. However, down can be problematic because if it gets wet, it's completely ruined. So that's one of the reasons that I'm diligent about keeping it inside this dry sack. And it didn't come in this bag. The bag that this came in, I actually used for my cook set. It's in the wash right now, but yeah, it's just a tiny little bag. It packs down much smaller than this, but when you're storing a sleeping bag, you shouldn't keep it packed down together. You should keep it hanging on a hanger so that the down doesn't get totally crushed. And then using this larger bag just allows it to decompress a little bit quicker when I pull it out and throw it in my tent. So usually when I get to camp, I'll like set up my tent and everything and then throw my sleeping bag in there, unfurl it and everything, because it gives it time to fluff itself back up so that it has all of its insulating properties when you get into it. Because if you just pull it out of the compressed sack and then get in it right away, you know, it won't be fully expanded and there won't be as much room for the warm air to accumulate inside, creating that protective microclimate layer of warm air around you. Okay, what else? I use this Sea to Summit Big River dry bag as a bear bag when I'm backpacking and camping in the Northeast. It's a 35-liter dry bag. The region I was in doesn't technically require a bear-proof canister, which I do own. If you're interested in a bear canister, I talk about that in my recap video of the Maroon Bells 4-pass loop hike. I'll link it right there or in the description below. Basically, the idea behind this is that you put all of your food and your chapstick and toothpaste, anything that could attract any sort of critter to your campsite. You put this in here overnight, roll it up, and then you hang it up in a tree. The idea is to really find a tall tree with an overhanging branch so that you can hang the bag so that it can't be reached by an animal that's climbing up the tree or on the branch itself, and then you tie it off to a different tree so that it's just dangling there overnight. Yeah, I mean, there are a bunch of ways to do it. There's the PCT method, which you can look up, but yeah, I just keep some 550 paracord in here, and then yeah, I have, you know, my toothbrush, toothpaste, and some snacks. And yeah, so this is actually extremely important. I know when I was hiking in Shenandoah, and I know in some areas in the White Mountains at the Appalachian Mountain Club shelters, or I forget what the one in Shenandoah is called. It's like the Peace something, whatever, the Potomac Club. They have these metal poles with hooks that you can hang your bear bags on. But yeah, if you're just wild camping or camping at a stealth site like we were at this weekend, you really should bring a bear bag or a bear canister and then hang it up somewhere downwind of where your campsite is so that nothing comes like wandering through your camp looking for what they're smelling. So that's the last thing I bring. Very important. Anyway, I've now made a giant mess on the ground out here next to my apartment, and yeah, that is all of the gear that I bring on an overnight backpacking trip. I didn't include food in this because that's really just a, you know, personal preference type deal, but usually try to bring things that don't have any moisture in them, like rice, pasta, that sort of thing, so that you don't have to carry that water weight and you can just rehydrate the food when you get to camp. And that's really all there is to it. Alrighty, maybe I should do this portion standing up. Okay. Are we even? Alrighty, my people, that concludes today's episode of the FinerBub Show. I really hope you enjoyed this little video showcasing all of the gear that I personally bring on my overnight backpacking hikes. So if you personally use any of the same gear items that I mentioned in this video, or if you have any other suggestions for things that I should check out, or if you already use any of the gear I mentioned in this video, or if you have any other ideas for things that I should check out, I'd love to have you comment below, especially if you think your insight can help me disprove something that I think I already know. But before you do, I just want to once again thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're looking for new gear or planning your next trip, don't let the small details stress you out, because remember, life's an adventure. So relax, breathe in the outdoors, and don't forget to appreciate the finer things in life. See you out there, people. Peace. Whew.